Going live, and we are live. Hello, my friends. My name is Evelyn Joy, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I am making thank you cards for police officers. Okay, so what I did step by step, I'm going to show you is I took a regular rectangular thank you card from Dollar Tree. It looked like this. Okay, and then I looked at the shape of a police car just on Google, and on the back I traced how I wanted to draw it. And when I got to how I wanted to draw it, I cut it out. And then I used the one that I had cut out that I liked how it looked, and I liked how it had the thank you, all of it included in there. I liked how it looked, so I traced it onto the other cards, and I made 30 of them. The next thing I did was I cut out hearts because my 5-year-old wanted to help me and I wanted her to help too. I cut out hearts. I cut out the hearts and I handed them over to her and I said, write love on the hearts. So we have love, L-O-V-E, written on the hearts. Some of them she drew different things on. This one she drew a police officer on, which I thought was super cute. Some of them she put a heart for the O for love, and she did a good job writing the word love. So that was good practice for her, and she got to help in making them because I kind of wanted to do the other parts that were a little bit more complicated. Some of them she just drew hearts, and a lot of them she drew love. So I thought that's special because it's got that handmade touch from a child. She even tried drawing the outline on one, which I thought was cute. But she helped me with the hearts. She also helped to glue on the hearts. So that was special. She wanted to help me with my art project, and I wanted her to be able to help if she wanted to. So I got these packages from Dollar Tree of thank you cards. Again, this was a rectangle shape. They're blank inside. And they are 6 for $1, and I bought 5 of them. So I have a total of 30 cards, 5 packs of 6. So then what I did was I looked on Google for a prayer for a police officer, okay? Because the thing I find difficult is handwriting the note in every single card. I tend to give up on filling out cards when I have to do that. So I found just a really nice prayer for a police officer online on just Google Images. And so, but it was too big for inside the card after I had cut the card down to police officers to, what am I talking about? After I had cut the card down. So what I did was I cut out this part right here. Prayer for police, and I taped it. I chose to tape it because it's just easier than gluing it. I taped it in here, just using regular Scotch tape. So it says prayer for police. So it has a little prayer there. And then I have 2 pictures of my family. One of them is with my husband in his armed security officer uniform. But that's not the whole family because I'm not in it. So I also included a picture of our family. And I'm going to write on here from our family to yours. So I'm going to write that now. From our family to yours. So yeah, that's what they're going to be receiving. I'm not putting it in an envelope because now I have a bunch of free envelopes that I got 30 envelopes with it. And because people might be hesitant thinking that they're going to get something bad in an envelope. So this way you just hand them a thank you card and they don't have to worry about an envelope and opening it or whatever. So, and this is a nice small thing. They could put it in their pocket. They could put it in their wallet. And maybe it's something encouraging that they could have with them. So yeah. So this is what it looks like. It's a little police car. It says thank you. You open it. It has a picture of my husband in his uniform and my family. It says, God loves me. It says, from our family to yours. And it says, prayer for police. And it says, love on the back. So I'm going to read the prayer. It says, Almighty God, we pray for you in heaven up above. Watch over our dear police officers and protect them with your love. Please guide them as they keep us safe both day and night, and hold them firmly in your care should danger come their way. Give them true strength and courage as they serve till duty's end. And one more thing, dear Lord, protect their family and their friends. So I thought that was really sweet. And I'm going to be working on making them while I chit chat with you. So I'm an online teacher, if you don't already know. I teach English to kids in China. So yesterday, what I was working on, surprisingly, it took many hours to do this. I was working on cutting these out to the shape of little police cars. And then I made this photo collage. I ordered it on Walgreens.com. I used a coupon code, which is all capital letters, all one word, Junebug. And I got 50% off for that. So it would have been $17 to print 50 of these, but instead it was only $8. So I spent $5 on the cards, $8 on printing the pictures. Really not that bad for 30 cards. And I may, buy some more. That's why I printed so many pictures, because I might buy some more and make 20 more cards. But I'm starting off smaller. So what I'm doing first is I'm cutting up the pictures, and then I'm going to tape them on. So I've got the ones I have, the unfinished ones are here, and then the finished ones are going over here. So I'm just putting them in stacks. So anyway, now while I'm working on this, I'm going to talk about why would you make thank you cards for police officers that you don't know? Well, if you don't know, almost all, probably all police officers in America are really discouraged right now, okay? And God has made me an encourager. It's what I do. Whenever I see people who are discouraged or hurting, I want to help, okay? So in making this, I'm not saying that a police officer who's guilty of murder, that I support that, because I don't. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying every single day, police officers protect and serve our communities. And despite common belief, they're not paid a lot. At least in my community, they're not. And they put their lives on the line. They risk their lives day after day. And they do it to protect and serve. They honestly, I can't say 100% of them, but I can say a lot of police officers do love the people. They love the people. In our neighborhood in particular, we have a lot of shots fired at night, and we've had murders on our street from gang violence. And in our city, we've had police officers killed. But you know what we haven't had? We haven't had police officers killing unarmed citizens. We've had citizens killing citizens in gang violence and drive-by shootings. We have had even it hit international news just 2 miles away from my house, in a bar. Some I'm going to tell it like it is. Mexican illegal gang guys shot up a bunch of other, pretty much all Mexican people in a bar in the middle of the night, killing a lot of people. And the police officers put their lives on the line to help the people. You know what I mean? They when everyone's running away, they run towards the danger, okay? So then the other thing I want to talk about is in the Bible. There's a story of, I can't remember if it's 10 or 13. There's a bunch of lepers, okay? So we can kind of think of coronavirus. When someone's sick with leprosy in the Bible times, they had to live in a camp outside of the city, quarantined, okay? And if they came into the city to buy supplies, they had to bang on pots and pans and ring bells and yell, unclean, unclean, so that all of the people would social distance and get away from them, right? So that they would not get sick, because they did not know what caused leprosy, and there was definitely no cure, and it was definitely a painful, horrible death where your body falls apart and your limbs fall off and all of that. So in that time, when no one wanted to be near or touch lepers and nobody had a cure, Jesus, let's say 10, it was either 10 or 13. Jesus touched and healed a group of 10 lepers. He put his hands on them and he told them to go to the temple and be declared clean from their sickness. And only one of them returned and thanked Jesus and said, "Thank you for healing us." And Jesus said, where are the other ones I healed? Were they not healed too? You know? And I think that story is a reminder of how often we take for granted when someone does something nice for us. There are people who put their lives on the line every day for our security without so much as a thank you. And their names are police officers. That's the name of their job. Right now, in a time when a lot of people are talking about discrimination and racism, which is totally and completely wrong and unacceptable, to be racist towards someone, to hate someone you don't even know, not judge them by the content of their character, but judge them by the color of their skin, that's so wrong. That's so wrong. And in the same way, it is wrong to hate someone because of their occupation, especially when that occupation is set in place to make the community better. Okay? So, is there corruption in the system? Without a doubt. But the alternative is not better, it's worse. You can look at Seattle. You can look at Chicago. I wouldn't trust the mainstream media if you're watching, especially CNN, because they are talking through a political, they have a political agenda, and so they're trying to make one group of people look good and another group of people look bad, and so they're not exactly painting the picture honestly. But the honest truth is, for example, in my city, I'll give an example of my own city. Okay. Police officers have been killed in my city by citizens. Okay. Not since this whole thing happened that I know of, but since the political unrest lately that's been going on, 20 officers were injured. And a friend of mine, her husband is a police officer, and his police vehicle, for example, one of many, the windows were broken out and it was spray painted on. I've seen police cars set on fire. That's just burning up tax dollars, guys. That's just burning up tax dollars, because they're going to have to replace that and buy another police car, and that's going to be more of your tax dollars. So real smart, defacing public property there. In New York especially, the police are being defunded. They are being treated badly. And they are some of the same people that were running into the World Trade Centers and saving lives and even paid the ultimate price to try to help some. Okay? So New York City, of all places, needs to do a little bit of history you youngins that weren't alive or were very young on September 11th, because you guys need to look back very short amount of time in history. Okay. I was 13 at the time, so that was like 19 years ago. Okay. Wow. Time flies. Maybe 18. I might be wrong. But September 11th was not that long ago in history for us to be so short-minded. And also all of these, I almost got political. Let me stop. Anyway. Police officers are more suicidal lately. They are quitting their jobs. They're walking off the jobs. They're going on strike. And so I'm making these thank you cards. You never know, okay? Just saying thank you to someone or making them a homemade card, it could keep them from committing suicide, quitting their job, going on strike. Just appreciating someone and letting them know that you care about them, that you're thankful for them, it can make a difference. I'm going to be honest with you. My husband thinks it's so dumb and stupid that I'm making thank you cards because he doesn't like cards. For Christmas, birthday, anything, he thinks cards are a waste of time. And I think that a thank you or a homemade gesture can be more powerful than he thinks. So we'll just agree to disagree. And what's the worst that could happen? I spent a little bit of money and a little bit of time making a thoughtful gesture that may not be appreciated, and that's okay. If they don't want it, they can throw it in the trash, and I'm not offended. It's okay. Or maybe it could encourage someone, or maybe it'll make someone just breathe a sigh of relief that, wow, somebody actually noticed. Somebody actually noticed that police are here to protect and serve, and that we're not all bad, and that we're not all murderers, and that we're not just going around killing unarmed citizens, because that has not happened in my city in the last countless years. I've never heard of an unarmed citizen in my city. There would have been a riot if there was one, you know. Police officers in my city have not killed any unarmed citizens, but they have been killed. We had one female officer not far from my age, in her 30s, maybe 40s, I think 30s. She was transporting an inmate from like a police vehicle into the jail or whatever, or into the courthouse or something like that. And he was handcuffed, but he grabbed her gun and shot her in the head. She was my age. Why was she killed? She was killed because of her choice of job. She was killed because a corrupt person decided to take her life unjustly. That was unjust. There was no riots for her. There was no public outcry for her. And that was an unjust killing. She was just trying to do her job. Okay? But she was white and he was black. Again, race doesn't matter in those types of situations. What matters is what's the right thing to do. What's justice, right? Hello, Cindy Bennett. Welcome. Since my friend Cindy Bennett said she's just getting here, I wanted to show you. So these are rectangle. They were rectangle cards at Dollar Tree, and I cut them in the shape of a police car. And I put a heart on the back. My daughter Esther wrote love on the heart. I'm putting a prayer for police officers here. And then I'm putting a picture of my husband in his armed security officer uniform. Then a picture of our family. And I'm just putting from our family to yours. So I'm just, and then what I haven't said yet in this video is that my friend, I say friend, I'm in the Parents as Teachers program, okay? So Parents as Teachers program is paid for by the public school system, which is paid for by our tax dollars. And they come to your house because they've realized that like early childhood development is very crucial for those foundational years, the first 4 years of their life before they even start school. That time is so important as far as reaching the milestones and helping your kids learn and stuff, and playing, not too much screen time and all that stuff is really good for the rest of their lives, for learning and development and stuff. And so Parents as Teachers is a program that was created by the public school system to help support parents being teachers at home, right? And so, and they also are for low-income families like mine, who tend to be the demographic that we have kiddos that maybe maybe don't get as much support when they're younger as they need to. And so, and they also help provide books. Like, I've been given books. Sometimes we do crafts. They help make sure that my kids, they give them like hearing and vision screenings. They make sure that I'm taking the kids to the pediatrician appointments like they need to. And they ask me if I need help with anything. They've provided 3 of my kids with car seats that are really high quality. So they've saved me hundreds of dollars. So anyway, that's a little bit about the Parents as Teachers program. So my friend Kim, I say friend because I've been in the Parents as Teachers program since Joshua was a baby. So it's been like 3 years now. So Kim is always the one that comes to my house every 2 weeks, all the time. But now we're doing Zoom calls during the pandemic. So anyway, she's gardening as well. She's, if we have to know nationalities, she's Asian, she's Taiwanese, her husband's white. Not that it matters. Or her husband might be black, actually. Yeah, I think her husband's black. Because her daughter's biracial. I don't know. Like, race is not as big of a deal as everyone makes it out to be. Obviously, people say, you shouldn't be colorblind. You have to acknowledge race. God made different races. God made everyone beautiful. End of story. Okay? No race is better than another, but they are different because God made variety in creation. Okay, He made a variety of people, personalities, looks, everything. Anyway, so I haven't met her husband, but I think her kids are biracial. So I always assumed her husband was white because he's a police officer. But there's black police officers too. Did you know that there are people of color who are police officers? Okay. Anyway. Her husband is a police officer, and I asked her, if he had been one of the police officers that was injured, because we had 20 police officers injured in riots. Thankfully, my city had a unity march with the police and with the Black Lives Matter people, and our city has calmed down a lot, and we haven't had any more violence. So we had some peaceful protesting. We had a little bit of violence. We had a unity march. We're doing a lot better in our city because, the people that want to be violent have moved on to Democrat states and cities, to my knowledge. So this is what I'm working on. I'm just cutting and folding and making little stacks right here while we talk. So anyway, I asked her if her husband had been affected, and she said yes. His car window, his windows were broken, and his car got spray painted on. So yeah, really sad stuff. Anyway, I saw a video last night of the people that are defacing public property, and they were outside of the White House in this video. I'm not sure what day it happened. And they were straight up attacking and trying to pull down a monument outside of the White House. And the police officers were not trying to hurt the people. They were holding up shields and just trying to block the people. And those people, oh my goodness, they sounded and looked to me to be spoiled, rotten, temper tantrum throwing adults. Yeah, Cindy said, I saw that. It was so disturbing. And they were saying to the faces of the police officers, how can you sleep at night? How can you live with yourself? And they were the ones trying to attack our nation's capital and the White House. It just reminds me so much of like how God created us and gave us every blessing we have. And as soon as we like lose a job or something goes wrong, we're spitting in God's face and saying, how could you, God? How could you take my job away? How could you take my blessings away? Our freedoms were paid for by soldiers who lost their lives and gave their lives for us. Okay. And police officers lay down their lives they put their lives on the line to protect and serve for the safety of the people. Don't let one or two bad apples, ruin the whole bunch. That said, I want to acknowledge what a friend of mine with a differing belief says. And I am not calling her out to make her a straw man. I am acknowledging her perspective and her differing side. So a friend of mine who's also a VIPKID teacher, she disagrees with me on some things. And we actually had a very cordial phone conversation. And at the end of the conversation, neither of us convinced the other person to change opinion. But we were able to have a loving conversation because she's a fellow believer. She's a Christian like me. We vote for different political parties. That's okay. We have different beliefs about police. That's okay. But she's not someone who's defacing public property or thinks that that's okay, right? But she thinks that we need police reform, and in some ways I agree with her. And the things that I believe need to be done, guess what? Our president is working to pass those laws. He wants police officers to have more funding and better training, because when you take the funding away from police, the first thing to go is proper training. And the first thing to go is the high quality police officers, because if you don't pay them for their job, they're going to go find another job because they have to support their families somehow. And a lot of VIPKID teachers, what am I talking about? A lot of police officers, like a friend of mine told me in her city, most police officers have a second job because their job does not pay enough to support their families. So this narrative that police officers across the board are paid too much is not true. Okay. It may be true in some cities. I don't know the budget plans of every city, but I know in my city and the people I know, the police officers are not paid enough. My husband is an armed private security officer. He has thought about becoming a police officer, but it would be a cut in pay and it would be way more dangerous. And I've straight up begged him not to become a police officer. But I could easily be the wife of a police officer right now talking to you. So think of that when you listen to me talk. So this friend of mine, she said it's interesting how on Facebook, a Black person will say that they've had negative experiences with the police. And then a white person will comment on the post and say that it's too bad that there's just that 1% that's bad apples. And then other white people will comment, amen, brother, So I guess what she's trying to point out is that every time that a Black person tries to say Black people are treated unfairly and unjustly by the police system as a whole, then white people try to say, oh, that's just 1% of cops. It's like it's falling on deaf ears. And I don't want to be one of those people. I want to hear them out. I want to fix the problem, okay? If there's a prejudice happening with our police system and that Black people are being treated unfairly, that needs to be fixed, okay? But that needs to be fixed through trainings. And I also agree with the idea or the narrative that there are some things that police officers have to do that maybe someone else could be doing more effectively. And the main one that people keep saying that I think is the biggest good point that they've said is homelessness. If there's homeless people, they shouldn't be arrested for being homeless. They shouldn't be, removed and taken some, there are other people that could help fix that problem. So that's true. Maybe we could, but that doesn't mean less funding. That means more funding for programs like that that can help homeless people, you know? And another thing my friend said is that all these things, the church is supposed to be doing it. And, you know, the Salvation Army does. The Salvation Army has a homeless shelter, and my church has a food kitchen, or what do you call it? Not a soup. My church doesn't have a soup kitchen. They have a food pantry. Yeah. Food pantry where they give groceries out for free to people in need. And I think those kinds of things we need to see more of in every church, because when my family has been in financial need, oftentimes I've been helped out by Catholics, and I've said, why are Christian churches not doing this? Why is there not more following what the Bible says and serving the community and helping people, right? So that's why I'm thankful that I'm going to a church that they are serving the community. They've been making and giving out masks. They've been just donating money to help build like greenhouses and gardens to help communities in Nicaragua, where we have some missionaries that are there. And they don't just have a food pantry here in America. They have food pantries overseas in communities where people are literally starving. And so I'm thankful that I'm a part of a church and that I donate to a church that is helping people. You know what I mean? So it's true. Some of these things, maybe it shouldn't be the police officers that's doing it, helping the homeless and such. Maybe we're supposed to be stepping up, you know? And so I appreciate the Salvation Army. I don't necessarily agree with all of their doctrines, but I do agree with the fact that they serve the community. Same goes for the Catholic Church. I've seen the Catholic Church helping people. They've given me free diapers and free groceries countless times. So the Catholic Church is really serving people. Do I personally agree with all of their doctrines? Not necessarily, but I can choose to love my brethren, you know, agree or disagree. We all, you know, believe in the blood of Jesus Christ that covers our sins, right? So, but you know, and even people of other religions that are doing good, I'm thankful. I think what the world needs now is a lot more love and a lot less hate. Okay, so a big problem that we're seeing is just hate, just spoiled, rotten people that don't understand history, tearing down statues of people like Abraham Lincoln that helped. Oh my goodness. Okay, that one's just a plan. They have a plan to tear down state. These people need to read some history books. If they say that Black Lives Matter to them, they need to read some history books before they tear down the statues, because not all the people they're tearing down statues of did bad things to Black people. Anyway, I'm going to read what some of you are saying. Oh, Meredith Armstead is here. Okay, so for my friends that are just now joining, this is what I'm doing. Yesterday, I cut Dollar Tree thank you cards into the shape of police cars. I cut out hearts and my daughter wrote love on them. Now I'm cutting out pictures of my family. I'm saying from our family to yours, and it has a prayer for the police. And it's just a little something that my husband thinks is dumb. He thinks cards are ridiculous and that they're worthless and doesn't matter. Oh, well, you know, we're different people. We choose to do different things, you know. Maybe a police officer will receive this and say, I don't like cards, and throw it in the trash, and that's fine, you know. Or maybe they'll say, wow, someone actually said thank you to the police after all of our hard work. Somebody actually said thank you. Or maybe someone will say, I need to look at this every day for encouragement. Maybe they'll put it in their pocket or put it in their wallet. Maybe they'll look at it every single day for the next 10 years, for all I know. And they'll be reminded that somebody said thank you one time. So maybe this will just be thrown away, or maybe it'll be treasured. I don't know. But if I can help prevent a police officer from committing suicide or quitting their job in a city where we definitely need police officers where I live, and I'm so thankful that they're not going on strike, and I'm so thankful. Guys, police officers drive down my street and it helps us feel safer. I see a police officer drive down my street on most days, and I wave at them and I say thank you to them, because on my street, we have murders and drive-by shootings and gang violence. Okay. So when the police drive down the street, they're the good guys. Okay. So I don't know about other neighborhoods, but in my neighborhood, they're the good guys. Okay. It's kind of like they're the superhero. So, to want to get rid of them, but then not address the bigger issue of drive-by shootings and gang violence that is killing a lot more Black people. So someone told me that I was, by giving those statistics, that I was, by saying, you know, there was only 10 unarmed people that were killed by police officers in the last year in all of America. And there are hundreds of people every day that are killed by gang violence and drive-by shootings. And they're saying, oh, that's gaslighting, or that's trying to divert the message, or trying to change whatever. It's trying to change the subject. It's not changing the subject, because if Black Lives Matter, all Black lives matter. That includes the thousands of unborn babies that are killed every year because Planned Parenthood specifically targets minority groups and specifically has their buildings in neighborhoods so that they can have Margaret Singer, look her up. Okay. Planned Parenthood still worships the ground she used to walk on. Now she's dead, and I don't think in heaven, because she was a horrible person that wanted all Blacks dead. Okay. And they still honor her memory with Planned Parenthood. And she specifically targeted Blacks and minorities and wanted them all gone. She thought that our earth is overpopulated and that there's too many people, and we need to kill all the babies, especially the minority babies. She believed white people were better than other people. Look up Margaret Singer. She was pure evil, and I don't think she's in a good place right now, but I'm not God to be saying who goes where, right? So, but the fact that Planned Parenthood still quotes her and worships the ground she walks on, absolutely despicable, absolutely inappropriate. And the fact that people don't talk about it when they're talking about Black Lives Matter shows that it's a political agenda that they're following. And the fact that people say, oh, when you bring up unborn babies that are being murdered every year, you're just trying to divert. Okay, let's just look at the numbers then. Just look at the numbers. Okay, tens of thousands of babies being killed versus 10 unarmed citizens killed by police officers in the last year. Okay, just look at the numbers. Where's the bigger problem? If Black Lives Matter, and they do. Also, originally, I said I'm never going to say all lives matter. I'm not going to say blue lives matter. But you know what? I'm not going to say that, okay? Because people find offense to it. Black lives do matter, but you won't see me posting it anymore. When this whole thing started, I posted it, okay? But it's become a political agenda, and it's not led by who you think. Unfortunately, all of the funding for Black Lives Matter, all of the donations from celebrities and everything, is going into the pockets of corrupt politicians. It should be going into the communities of the people who need it. It should be going into food kitchens and homeless shelters. If they're going around talking about homeless people need help, actually help them. You know what I mean? Practice what you preach. Put your money where your mouth is. You know, fund helping homeless people. Don't just talk about it because it fits your political agenda. Guys, my YouTube channel has become a little bit political. Feel free to give me a thumbs down if you don't like politics. I don't mind. I don't mind, you know. But the thing is there a problem in our system? Okay, now I'm going to talk about the problem. There are problems in our policing system. And police officers will tell you that. The president, like him or hate him, I used to not like him because I listened to the mainstream media. Then I started looking at his actions and the things that he's actually accomplished during his time as president. And now people are going to hate me for saying I actually support our president. Ah! Oh my goodness, I thought I would never say that because everyone told me he was a racist. Everyone told me he was a racist. I had a phone conversation with my friend. She said he's a racist. I told her, tell me how he's a racist. The only thing she could tell me is that one thing that he says he says in his speeches, his campaign speeches, he says, drain the swamp. I don't even know what that means. I asked her what that means. He's saying get rid of the Democrats. She thinks it means get rid of the black people. He's never said that, you know? So anyway, he's talking about drain the swamp. He's talking about the Democrats, okay? Because they're not doing their jobs correctly, according to his opinion, and maybe I agree. And if you are a Democrat, I still love you, okay? So, so many things on my mind. Maybe this video is just me venting, but okay, some of the issues with police officers and some of the issues with society, okay? So, one of the issues with society that has come up is that you have to live in a specific neighborhood to go to a specific school. And guess what? President Trump spoke out and said that he wants that changed. He's working for that to be changed, that you can go to any public elementary school you want to. That's the reason my kids are going to homeschool, because our neighborhood, I'm not going to send them to the public school. If we could afford to live on the rich side of town, I would send them to that public school where I used to work, right? But unfortunately, we don't have the tens of thousands of dollars it takes to pay the mortgage of a home on that side of the tracks, right? But I would love to drive and take my kids to that public school because it's a good one. I used to work there. I could work there again. Drain the swamp meaning was for the government's Democrats, not blacks. Exactly. But her thing is he's using terminology. That's a terminology, she says, used by white supremacists, and that he's never outright said that he is not a white supremacist. That's what she says. Okay. But he has said he's not racist. Anyway, he's not racist. There are black people that know him that flat out say he's not racist. Okay. But he's done more for black people than President Obama did. And that might sound horrible to say, but look at the actions. I wish I could say that Obama did lots of things for the black community, but unemployment for black people doubled in the first couple of years under Obama because of the Democrat leadership in Congress at the time. So it wasn't all the president's fault. The truth is, guys, I usually stay out of politics, but lately, unfortunately, there's nothing but politics to focus on in quarantine, and everybody's making everything political, and everybody's acting out and doing bad stuff based on politics with lack of knowledge of the actual facts, of the actual numbers, of the actual statistics, of the actual history, of the fact that Democrats now are voted for by blacks, but blacks don't know, the ones that vote for them, not all, obviously some of them know their history, that the and I didn't know this, I recently found this out, okay? So I can't fault anyone else. I wasn't taught this in school. I grew up going to public school. The Democratic Party was the party that was for slavery. I wasn't taught that in school. I was taught North versus South. I wasn't taught Republican versus Democrat. The Republican Party was created specifically. The Republican Party was created because it was against slavery. Look it up. Like, prove me wrong, please. Mind-blowing stuff. So there's a lot of people that are, another thing that's despicable to me is how people are being treated like pawns. For example, if you look at Seattle and if you look at Chicago just had 100 people shot. Okay, not all of them killed. A lot of them were just injuries. Because the police took a weekend off. Chicago had the most dangerous weekend ever. 100 people were shot. Among them, a 3-year-old died. Innocent 3-year-old baby of color. Okay. Biracial 3-year-old little boy. 4 teenagers were killed. This is what I'm talking about. This is why the police, it's not on CNN. It's not on nationwide news. It's on local news for Chicago. Where's CNN? It didn't fit their political agenda to announce that they were wrong about defunding the police. It didn't fit their political agenda. I'm sorry that I'm not reading the chat box. Yeah. Draining the swamp is getting rid of corruption on both sides of the aisle. Okay, so yeah. My friend, she studied Black history in college at a public university. Her father, she's biracial. Her mom's white, her dad's Black, her husband's white, her stepfather is Native American. So she's seen racism towards Native Americans where she lives, because she lives in an area, she grew up in an area with a lot of Native Americans. Her father was killed by the KKK, okay? So this is personal for her. And so I don't want to say anything that's offensive towards her. I will say right now, I 100% disagree with the KKK. They are an evil and corrupt group, and I will never say anything positive about them. They are evil, okay? Straight up pure evil, okay? I disagree 100% with any actions of the KKK, ever, okay? So that's one thing. But my friend, that's why, you know, she says that she has seen racism from police officers towards people of color, and that needs fixed. Now I'm going to talk about how I think that needs fixed. My husband has received police training for his licensing, okay? And I find it disturbing that their targets that they practice shooting are the outline of a person, okay? I realize that they're being trained that they need to shoot to kill. That's another thing that bothers me, okay? That they're training to shoot to kill. It bothers me that whenever the target is the face of a person, I've only seen Black, Hispanic, and Asian. I've not yet seen a white target. Maybe they exist. Maybe they exist more than I've seen. It's just disturbing to me to see the face of someone being shot at. It's disturbing to me. So obviously I was not cut out to be a police officer, okay? But I'm not saying that they're evil. I'm just saying that their training is corrupt, perhaps, and needs some fixing. I am no expert by any means, so maybe I'm not the right one to talk about it. But I agree with something President Trump said. Oh, did I mention what President Trump passed about the schools? I was talking all about it. President Trump wants to pass a law that you can go to any school in any neighborhood that you want to. As long as you're willing to drive your kids there, you can go to school there. You don't have to live in that neighborhood. And that is monumental, because my city has the white side of the tracks with just a few specklings of Black and Hispanic and Asian people in there. Mostly white. I would say 98% white side of the tracks. I live on the other side of the tracks that we've got white people that they call white trash, which was, you know, means white people that don't have money, basically. So calling them white trash is kind of an insult, but I use that term because their yards tend to be trashy. Anyway, white people, Black people, Hispanic people, immigrants, Asians, that's my neighborhood. It's a melting pot. And I love it. But I think it's not fair that we can't go to the nicer schools, right? And that's a fair thing that people talk about, right? And so I like that police say that you can go to both. Yeah, at my shooting range, it's just outlines and target boards. Yep. Love you, Dani. Welcome. So the other thing I like that he passed, and that he wants to pass, is more non-lethal options for police officers. In other words, when someone takes your taser and is running away, have another non-lethal option to be able to catch the person that doesn't take their life. So he wants to put funding into research and development of more non-lethal options. And I think that's great, because I don't think shoot to kill is always the answer. Okay, so, and I'm no expert, you know, because like I said, police officers have been killed in my city, but anyway. So this is what I'm making. I'm making thank you cards. I'm including a photo of my husband in his uniform and my family. I'm including a prayer for police officers. It says, Almighty God, we pray to you in heaven above. Watch over our dear police officers and protect them with your love. Please guide them as they keep us safe both day and night, and hold them firmly in your care should danger come their way. Give them true strength and courage as they serve till duty's end. And one more thing, dear Lord, protect their family and their friends. So it's just a prayer of protection and blessing for police officers. And it's got a heart that my daughter wrote love on the back. And some people might just throw it in the trash, and that's fine. But I just wanted to make something to say thank you to police officers, because in my community, police officers protect and serve. There's a lot of bad guys in my neighborhood. Unfortunately, innocent people tend to be the ones that get killed in drive-by shootings. In my city, we've had children killed in drive-by shootings. Not in my neighborhood. We had gang violence. People die. One of my neighbors, his grandson, I think, was involved in a drug deal gone wrong and died in a shooting. And on my street, in the parking lot of the park that I used to take my kids to, there was some rival gang members shot at each other, and 2 of them were killed. And one of them was arrested and is in is in jail, and he says he acted alone, but he was in the back seat. He was in the back seat, and he said no one else was in his car. So he's obviously covering up for some gang members that got away with murder. So there's that. So we don't go to that park anymore. As of when that happened, which was over that was 3 years ago. Joshua has never been to that park. So Joshy's about to turn 3. So that happened when I was probably when Joshy was a baby. That happened. Anyway, but police officers in my city, they come towards the danger. They help us feel safer. They drive down our street and we feel safer. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I agree. But all of the news is biased. All of the mainstream media is biased. It's better to look at facts and actual situations, what's actually going on. But it's interesting to see what both sides say. But yeah, I agree with you. Yep. None of them are covering Chicago, what's going on in Chicago, right? It's just political agendas going on the mainstream media. So yeah, I agree. Anyway, dare I talk about the Trump rally? Everybody talked about the Trump rally. They said, all the mainstream media said, look how few people came to the Trump rally. Nobody likes Trump. Except for the fact that they have been fear-mongering about coronavirus for so long, and then there was so much like protesting and stuff that was scaring people away, and then it was difficult to even get into the venue because of the things happening in the streets around it. So, but you know, if all they want to publish is that not many people came, then not many people came. There you go. You can publish that. It's not fully true, but okay. But isn't that good with social distancing that there wasn't as many people? I mean, it's less germs, right? Anyway. All I know is abolishing the police is a very bad idea. There is some police reform that should happen, though. I also liked that the president said that so the chokehold being allowed as a restraint in many cities for a while now, maybe even years now, it's been a policy that a lot of police officers in a lot of cities, the policy is that you can't use a chokehold except for in cases that the police officer's life is in danger. Okay. But across the board, that hasn't been a rule. And so the president said that we need to make that policy in every city, not just some cities, that all of the states and cities that the police officers can't do a chokehold. And I completely and totally agree, obviously, for obvious reasons. But again, I'm no expert on these things. Honestly, last night my husband was cleaning our living room, okay? And I am the disorganized one, okay? So we're getting on a different topic. I am the disorganized one in our relationship. He is the organized one, okay? So he was helping me clean the living room. And I helped him move some buckets of toys to the toy room from the living room. And I helped him move a piece of furniture outside. But I would only push it. I wouldn't lift it up because I didn't want to injure my back because I can't afford a chiropractor. And so he called me lazy. And so I stopped helping him. And I went back to my little project making thank you cards for police officers because if you're going to call me lazy, I'll show you what lazy looks like, you know. And I changed the kids' diapers and got them ready for bed and didn't help him clean the living room. So then he had a nightmare last night that our house was completely trashed and it was all my fault. Yesterday, I did dishes and laundry. I kept the kids alive. I taught classes, changed diapers, took out the trash. I'm not lazy, okay? I'm exhausted. That's what I am. But I'm a very disorganized person, and we have too much junk in our house. Junk is the nice word for it. So one thing I need to work on becoming is less of a hoarder and more of a minimalist. So that's going to entail going through a lot of stuff we have and getting rid of bags and bags of extra stuff. What better time to do it than in quarantine? So that's my next project. I need to just throw a bunch of stuff away. My daughter mourns every every single item that I try to throw away. So I need to work on teaching her about why it's good to get rid of things. So one piece of furniture we put outside at the street, we're going to put a free sign on it. The trash truck's coming today. I don't know if they'll throw it away or not. It's probably too big. They probably won't take it. So we'll just put a free sign on it and hopefully somebody takes it. It's a big changing table that we were given for free a while back, but it just takes up too much space in our home. Sometimes the space is more valuable than the option, than the thing. Hi, Dani. Oh, hi, Meredith. You're back. Welcome back. So I need to work on throwing a bunch of stuff away in my house. Spring cleaning, I think they call it. We'll call it summer cleaning. Quarantine cleaning. How about that? I need to do a lot of cleaning, basically. So there's a loved one in my family who I'm not allowed to share their name or what they have. But let's just say someone I dearly love that does not live with me. No, 2 people actually tested positive for something. So we're praying for healing for those 2 people. And hopefully they have a mild case of it. And I can't say any more than that. But yeah. It's hard to be organized with little children. That's true. It's hard to be organized with my personality. In a way. In a way. I'm a creative person. So I love before and after. I love, like, if I take a before picture, it encourages me to work towards that after picture of what my goal is to make it. So a lot of times I'll take a before picture of like a messy room, and then I'll clean it up so that I can take that after picture, because I'm a creative person. I'm a visual person. I want to see the before, the after. I want to see, oh, look what I did. So I need to take a before picture. Since my husband honestly made my dreams come true by helping clean up the living room last night. The living room looks awesome. It's exactly what I wanted. We had way too much junk in the living room. And now I need to do it with the playroom. So I need to open the door to the attic, box up and bag up a bunch of stuff. And the first thing I need to do is just put a bunch of junk in the attic so that later I can go through it and decide what we're getting rid of. But the first thing I need to do is just get it out of the way. It's in the way. Too much junk can just like consume your life. And it actually stresses me out a lot more because I'm a less patient mom when it's just like I'm cleaning the same messes over and over again. Hello, my love. Do you want us to come say hello?
Yeah.
I'm making a video. What's your name?
Esther.
Esther. How are you today?
Good.
Good. I'm making the cards.
Purple.
Purple. I bought that cup yesterday. Tell the people, baby. What did we do yesterday?
Yesterday we went to the store, just Mommy and me.
And has it been a super long time since I took you to any stores at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. One time I took you and Deborah to a Dollar Tree, but yesterday, Esther, I ordered kids' masks in the mail, and Esther asked to go to Walmart with me, and I brought her with me. I kept her in the cart, though, so that she didn't touch anything and so that we could properly social distance. But I told her, don't throw a fit next time I go to the store. Just because I brought you one time doesn't mean you get to throw a fit so you can come every time, you know. She didn't throw a fit this time, but I just said, you know, you can come with me as long as you sneak out quietly with me and don't tell the other ones you're coming with me. So, yeah. My nephew's roommate had the virus. He has to quarantine 14 days. His girlfriend has symptoms and getting tested today. They are in college. Yikes. I am so sorry to hear that. The good news is a lot of people recover from it. It's not a death sentence. It's not like being told you have cancer or something. But there are people who are more at risk for worse symptoms, and it is very scary. So yeah. Luann, I'm going to add you to the Blue Wrench Club. Welcome to the Blue Wrench Club. Next time you comment, Luann, you now have a blue wrench. That means you're a moderator. That means if someone weird comes in the chat box, there you are. You can delete a comment if somebody says something inappropriate. If we're just talking about politics among friends, you don't need to delete that at all. Unless it's something super hateful and we don't know who that person is. Hi, Esther. Do you want me to brush your hair?
I want to go for my pop.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Do you like these pictures?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty nice, huh?
Are you cutting all of those?
That's the plan, love. Do you want to sing a song with me? No. I might end this video and start another video unboxing something with Esther. I have something to unbox that I ordered. I can't tell you what it is because then she'll hear me. But I bought something special. It's in a box and I want to unbox it with her soon. I also am getting, for you VIPKID teacher friends, I'm getting the
Makeup time.
no, don't do my makeup. I'm getting the, what's it called? The teacher box. What's it called? Good Fortune box for the first time ever this month. I wish I could have gotten the butterfly one. It was so cool. I like butterflies. This time's theme is coffee, and I'm not a coffee drinker, but I probably need more caffeine in my life. Hello. You putting lipstick on me? Thank you.
What?
It's also supposed to be Dragon Boat Festival themed, so we'll see what happens. Anyway. Oh yeah, Luann said thanks. Now you're in the Blue Wrench Club. Welcome to the club. That's just lipstick. What are you excited about? You thought it was nail polish?
No, I thought it was. It's so sparkly.
Oh, you're excited because it's sparkly.
Yeah.
We're playing with hand-me-down lipstick from... Do you know where that's from, baby?
Yeah.
My mom is in heaven, and that is lipstick from her, actually. My mom always had really fancy makeup and lipstick and stuff that I would not spend money on. She was a cheap person, but she liked her makeup, so she would buy expensive stuff. I never really spent much money on makeup, but I did admire her lipsticks. I have some of them in my possession, and they may or may not be expiring now. It's a weird thing, losing someone and then looking at the objects that used to be their prized possessions, right? It's so weird. Weird feelings and thoughts. Loss is a strange thing. I certainly hope that police in my city do not quit or commit suicide or go on strike. Is that Dino? Thank you, Luann. That was 2 years ago when she passed. Oh, thank you. Esther.
What?
Hi, Dino.
Hi.
Are you wearing lipstick? Esther. Your lips are so red. Oh my goodness. Sometimes my kids play with and destroy my lips, my makeup. And I'm like, glad that was only $1 from Dollar Tree. If it was $50 makeup, I'd be mad. Okay, I'm ending this video and starting a new one because my daughter and I are going to do an unboxing video. We've got a box to unbox.
What?
We're going to be unboxing something special. Ooh. New video. Bye.